Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet, reflecting a little bit more on this idea of fade away and radiate. So the community is a good example of this. My experience with the community up until now has been one of these archetypical situations. In particular, it relates to my interaction with a small number of people. Andy Dorsch asked how many people are actually in this community group. Technically, there are 5, maybe. In terms of my general interaction, there are 3 women that are my main interaction with this group. There's a secondary fellow who's, through his work, is not as actively involved, and really he provides a strong archetype that I'm going to utilize associated with my own situation. I mean, honestly, my work is getting more and more time-consuming, and it means that I have to think very critically associated with my community involvement. But in these interactions, I realize that my responsibility here is that of almost a subjugated child. And the experiences that I've had, in particular the fact that I've lived in 14 different municipalities through my adult life for extended periods of time, that I have a very unique perspective associated with the way cities that I've lived in have operated historically. And my criticality associated with San Jose, I think in terms of the board, certainly 2 of the board members have basically lived in San Jose. In fact, all of the board members have lived in San Jose for 30 plus years, I think, in that order, or at least 25. Some of them were born here. There's very little, let's look at what other cities are doing. Let's try to explore this through other cities' perspective. And I think that's my unique contribution here. But unfortunately, there's no level of communication or understanding. There's no level of existential respect associated with the work that I do. And that transcends everything. So from this perspective, the work and effort that I've put in has been thanked for. I mean, for example, the donations to the community centre. But I'm not seen as being an active participant, and a lot of my concerns are just fobbed off. So, for example, when I went and met with the city associated with the recent shootings, this wasn't a meeting that got support from the main board members. One of the board members did attend with me, and that was much appreciated. But I think the general perspective is that there's a defined thing, and then there's these concerns and ideas and what have you that Tom has, which is just meaningless. And part of this is also because certainly the female contributors to the board, the women on the board, are all people that have been involved with the current representative, the current council member. They were all involved in his election campaign, some of them very heavily, and they all have a perspective that this is the best guy that we can have in this community now, which is very difficult to really explore in a critical fashion, because this fellow has done very little for this community. In fact, it really begs the question why independent people would choose to support this individual. Well, the answer is they're not independent people. So within the fade away and radiate philosophy, this is something that's extremely time-consuming. It's energy-consuming, vastly energy-consuming. The current issue is associated with whether we go to this kind of medieval European, what they call RLEI, the responsible landlord, something initiative, education perhaps, I don't know. In any case, the community, and this is the city of San Jose and Catholic Charities, the charity that I give my money to for the community centre, this is a partnership between the 2 of them to see that individuals within the community conduct group civil litigations against businesses in the area. It's very slow, it's very laborious. We have about 10 of these businesses. This is against just one of these businesses. In any other city that I've lived in any other municipality, the city would take some responsibility here and also work with the community. But San Jose has this very curious thing, because they're basically the only city in Silicon Valley, aside from Adobe, that doesn't have a major business. I mean, Adobe is the business in San Jose. They don't have any tech businesses. They weren't able to cultivate tech businesses. So rather than cultivate tech businesses, what they do is they find parasitic businesses, like the local cement works that trucks cement up and down my street, dumps most of it on the road, basically, or on our porches, or just in the air, vaporous, cement dust. It's a wonderful thing. So the city of San Jose decided that they were going to be pro-business, but they weren't going to be pro-business associated with Silicon Valley tech companies. They were going to be pro-business associated with every business, be it, the car wash that operates 24 hours a day that has live bands playing where they just empty seafood out, which is the main business that the RLEI is aimed at, or the local tire company, which backs onto our property, that basically parks all their cars all through the neighbourhood, leaves the car alarms on for, 3 days. Who cares about the way the community is? Who cares about the fact that their car alarms go off for 3 days? That's not their problem. So the city of San Jose has decided, in fact, that this is the way they're going to operate. They're going to be pro-business because they fail to be pro-tech business. And that's it. So thankfully, in some regard, the work that I'm doing currently at work means that my time is very limited and my ability to participate in this is reducing dramatically. So I'm making the stand that I'm going to fade away and radiate, that I can't participate in the way that I had previously going forward, and let's just have a pleasant memory of the way Tom used to be and let Tom get on with his own life, I think. Interesting philosophy. Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.